Good afternoon, everyone. We are from Group 1. The member of group is Farel, Agung Prasetyo, Yarinja Susanti, and Nesalar Santi. So today we would like to present our project. The title is Language Testing Instrument Development. So in this project, we develop a reading test and then writing in the form of multiple choice question, along with explanation about construct validity and content validity. So first, we create a reading comprehension that consistent of reading passages. We use is title Mengatang Utus Tradition in Central Kalimantan. So Mengatang Utus is a traditional ceremony from the Dayak Ngaju community in Central Kalimantan. The ceremony is held when a family wants to send a message, a hope, or a prayer to their ancestor. During the ceremony, community members gather in the village hall. They bring food, rice, and traditional offering. A leader called Basir guides the ritual by chanting prayers in the Dayak language. This tradition is important because it strengthens the relationship between family members and reminds young people about their cultural identity. Even though modern influences have entered the community, the Mengatang Utus ceremony is still practiced to preserve Dayak heritage. So, the ceremony takes a place in the village hall led by Basir, and the community brings food, rice, and offerings. This tradition is meaningful because it strengthens family bonds and have young people maintain their cultural identity. Based on this passage, we develop 10 MCQ items that assess student ability to understand the purpose of the ceremony, and the second, the leader of the ritual, and the third, the setting, and then fourth, vocabulary in context, and the last, and others important details found in the text. Each question is also provided with the correct answer. Okay, next section, construct validity and then content validity will be explained by my friend.
Okay, in this part, we will explain that our test really measure reading skills. Contrast validity means that the test measures what is supposed to measure. Our reading test is focused on 5 main skills. The first is identifying the main idea. So for this, first, focus. Some questions check whether students understand the central message of the passage. And the second one is finding details, such as who leads the ceremony, where it takes place, and what people bring. This show the test measure detailed comprehensions. And the third one is understanding vocabulary in context. For example, the word is heritage. And the fourth is understanding cultural context, because the passage is that students need to understand the culture background. And the last one is making making inferences, which mean drawing conclusion from information that is not directly stated. So since all questions focus only on reading skill and not listening, speaking, or its contractually validity is full file. And the next is content validity. Content validity explains whether the test contains matches the curriculum. For the first, the passage is non-fiction cultural text, which is appropriate for SMP or SMA reading lessons. Second one is the test is content 10 comprehension questions, which is a standard number for school level reading assessment. And the third, the difficulty level is suitable for SMP or SMA students. The vocabulary and the sentence structure are simple and clear. The fourth one, the test include local culture content from Central Kalimantan, which is support the curriculum focus on local wisdom. Because the text type, number of questions, difficulty, and local content match the curriculum, content validity is also profiled. Okay, and the next material will be explained by my friend.
So the next is writing from narrative text in local content in Kalimantan Tengah. So the task is write a narrative text 150 to 170 words about surprising experience you had during a traditional event in Kalimantan, like such as Tiwa, Huduk Dance, Festival Babungkung, or Mahatue. So in the bottom is expected response, or known as the model answers. So the narrative text described a surprising personal experience during a traditional cultural event in Kalimantan Tengah. So this story takes in place in Babukung Festival, which is known for its mass dance performed by Dayak people in central Kalimantan. So the writer begins by giving the orientation, of course, and also explaining when and where the event happened and who the character are, the writer or their family at the village hall. So the complications for this text is to start when one of the dancers unexpectedly approaches the writer. So at first, the writer thinks it's just a greeting, but situation becomes a surprising when the dancer invites them to join the performance. And also, the student needs to add the resolutions that occurs when the performance ends. Like example, this the elders explains that being chosen to join the dance is considered to with a good luck, and this makes the reader feel proud and more connected to their Dayak cultural heritage. And at the end, the text, sorry. So the text ends with a positive reflections, making the experience unforgettable. So for the next sections will be explained by Agung.
The second activity for the writing prompt is about the context about local content, especially in Kalimantan. So the task is write recon text 140 to 160 words about your most memorable visit to a cultural or traditional place in Kalimantan, especially. For example, Betang House, Sebangau National Park, Museum Balanga, Kahayan River, and Ngaju Dayak Village. So our expected response of the this task is about how the reader answer. For the example, when the most memorable cultural trip in Kalimantan happened when they visit a traditional Beta house in Palangkaraya. So they're with their classmates during school field trip and etc. So this expected response is from the memorable, the thing, the traditional that they explain or they answer in this till the resolution or the conclusion of the answer itself. So the validity justification of the writing test will be explained by Farel.
Okay, so for the validations justifications for writing tests is number one is of course construct validity. The writing test measures like first of all ability to derive idea from the structures, and the second use of correct text structures, and the third the students need to use the coherence and also cohesions from the structures of the grammar, and the fourth grammar and vocabulary variated, and next is genre mastery, like narrative and recounts, like the example that Agung explains. And the last is cultural context relations. No reading, listening, or speakings are involved in these writing sessions. So the constructability is fulfilled. And the second is content validity. The prompts match curriculum requirements and the task instructions. First of all, like narrative plus one recounts as required in the assignment. And the second is word limit appropriate. And the third is clear local content focus, especially in Kalimantan Tengah cultures. And the next is expected response represents correct structures. And the last topics align with Indonesian local contents integrations, like we said before, like in Kalimantan Tengah context, like Baboko Festival and also the other traditionals. So the content quality is fulfilled. That's all from our presentations from Group 1. Thank you for your presentations and see you in the next meeting and also the next presentations. Thank you.